Ja, viele von euch haben es wahrscheinlich mitbekommen oder wart vielleicht auch dabei. Wir hatten ein Beziehungsseminar bei uns in der Gemeinde und zu Gast waren Dr. Glenn und Phyllis Hill aus Amerika, die Gründer von Connection Codes. Und ja, wir hatten so viel Freude, es waren so viele Leute da und es gab so viele Fragen. Und über eine dieser Fragen, nämlich über das Thema Kritik, wollen wir heute sprechen.
Herzlich willkommen zum Podcast von Connection Codes Deutschland. In diesem Podcast sprechen wir darüber, wie deine Emotionen zu mehr Verbundenheit anstatt zu Trennung und Einsamkeit führen. Wir helfen dir, den verborgenen Schatz deiner Emotionen zu entdecken. Wir sind Lydia und Sebastian und Dr. Glenn und Phyllis Hill.
Hey.
Und wir freuen uns so, dass du dabei bist. Und da die zwei nur Englisch sprechen, aber so kostbare Menschen sind, dass wir sie nicht gehen lassen können, ohne hier einen Podcast mit ihnen zu machen wir es so, dass jetzt der Inhalt auf Englisch folgt. Wenn du sagst, oh, gar keine Chance, dass ich irgendwas verstehe, kein Problem. Wir haben den Untertitel im Video von diesem Podcast. Wir würden jetzt einfach reingehen in das Thema und wie immer starten wir mit dem Kern-Emotionen-Rat. Aber anstatt dass das Sebi und ich heute machen, machen es Dr. Glenn und Phyllis.
Yep.
So you two, you can start with the core emotion wheel.
Oh, well, wow. First we need to discuss y'all need to hold up what you're drinking.
Oh,
of course.
Look at those gorgeous mugs. Yeah. Look at the gorgeous mugs. And then look at us. So American. So what we're drinking.
And of course. Nice.
Yeah, water with ice. So this is the American version of what we do. And then you guys have the cutest teacups. So wow.
Where did you get those mugs? Those are
yes.
really cool.
In France.
France.
Oh. Of course.
Next time we come back, we have to go to France.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Didn't we go there for like a minute and a half?
Yeah, a minute and a half. Yeah. That wasn't long enough.
How long were we in France?
It was dark.
Like 10 minutes?
10 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, that's not long enough to be in France.
Really?
No.
Okay.
We got to go back for sure.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Well, thank you guys for having us
this is so cool.
on the podcast. And yeah, we'd love to start with the wheel. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Well, greetings from outside Amsterdam. So we're still in Europe for a few more days. Let's see. Lots of joy traveling with you. It's been such an adventure.
Yes.
And seeing and getting to be with Dynamik today. So much joy. Let's see. I think anger has played just realizing as we've traveled through Europe that we're all humans with the same emotions, like the pain, the lonely. It's just been really something. But I feel like my anger is just that we don't realize how much alike we are.
Yeah.
And that we kind of judge each other or think, oh, it's always better where they live, instead of realizing we all have a lot of similarities. Yeah. Let's see. Guilt. I think guilt in I've struggled getting to people's names. Like, I don't think I'm great at it as it is, but then the pronunciations have been hard for me. Yeah. So I feel guilt that I've missed on that a lot. Yeah. In the weeks we've been here, shame. I think shame with just like keeping up with all of my goals, my health goals. It's been super challenging being on the road for 5 weeks. Yeah. Fear. I think just a little bit of fear of getting back home and then following up and keeping the fire going here in Europe, because it's been so amazing. Yeah. So a little fear there. Lonely. I think there is some lonely in just wrapping things up well. And like today we were writing out just people's names and, just got to really stay on top of that. That feels lonely sometimes. Yeah. We have got to make sure this happens. Sad. I think that getting text messages from home about how much we're missed. Yep. I feel sad in that. Hurt. Yeah, I think it's been physical. My right knee has given me more trouble. So I felt just the physical pain. There's been hurt there. Yeah. Let's see. Did I get it all the way around?
That's the whole week.
Oh my gosh, there I go.
Amazing. I love it. Yeah, I guess it's funny. A lot of mine is probably similar to yours. Just fear that, we've met so many amazing people, so many opportunities.
Wow.
It's just been spectacular, but it's a lot to keep up with, keeping up with the various languages and, meeting people's needs of what they're needing, what they're wanting to do next.
Yeah.
A lot of fear in that. I'm not good at that. And, we have a team in place now that I think will follow through, I hope. There's been lots of loneliness in the past just because I'm so bad at follow-up and implementation. And I do feel a lot of joy about the possibility of not lonely. That people, will be contacted. Our team has expanded so much lately, which is so exciting. There's a lot of sad for me just being in so many different places, and it's the same pains, the same hurts, the same loneliness, and all around the world. That we all need this. That's just the human condition, and it's the same misses everywhere that we go. So there's just tons of joy that we're getting to share the message of the connection codes. We didn't invent the connection codes; we just found them, and being able to share that and seeing so many amazing people get it and get it quickly and deeply has been so powerful. And to see and to hear the stories that, they heard the connection codes on a Wednesday and Thursday they were able to implement it, and just the huge difference that it made. Lots of guilt and shame for me, just being adequate for people, not following through, not following up, not from a bad heart. It's just, I lose track of people. Same thing with names. I'm really good with names, and there have been a few names I never could say correctly, much less remember them to say them correctly an hour later. That's felt really weird. Hurt. Well, the last big hurt was on getting off the ferry when my foot was bothering me, which I don't usually have anything physical happening. And it hadn't bothered me since. That was 2 days ago. So hopefully that will not continue. But that was a big pain in the moment.
Wow.
And I think that's the wheel.
Yeah.
Anger. I didn't do anger. Wait. Anger. Just that same theme. It's like, come on, people, let's just be human. It's been interesting traveling around Europe and seeing the, history of wars for many, many centuries, for literally millennia. And I think that's kind of the history of humanity. We're just always fighting and griping and harming each other.
Wow.
And I think we have an opportunity to, and I think that all comes from the first unprocessed emotion, and we have an opportunity to change that trajectory.
Wow.
I really believe for humanity that we can change the whole setup so that we don't end up at war, whether war in our home or at work or literally in the war, in the world with bullets and bombs. I think we have an opportunity to change the world.
Wow. Thank you.
That's me.
Thank you so much. Wow. So much joy hearing you doing the wheel. We miss you so much. So the question that was asked, we had Q&A cards, and a couple of people had questions in the same direction, which was, okay, now we do the core emotion wheel, we ooh each other, we ask, what am I missing? But what if I see that my partner is doing something wrong and I want to tell him or suggest, maybe you want to try out this, or listen to my idea, how about you try that? And so the big question is, when is the right time to criticize my partner?
Yeah. Well, the brief answer, I would say never. I don't ever anymore criticize Phyllis. Even the word criticize, and we don't use words like criticize, confront. People say that all the time. Well, when do I get to confront her? Those are just fighting words. I mean, okay, you want to do it. I'm not coming home with you. I don't care. But I would think I would want to be at peace with Phyllis. I don't want her as my enemy. And words like criticism, confrontation, those are enemy words. Again, I'm not talking about we're throwing rocks at each other, but we're not bonded. We're not connected. So I'm going to frame everything. The three phrases is always, we say ooh is always the right answer. The ooh is the first of the three that leads us into the second and third one. And I'm going to ask her, hey, babe, what do you think would happen if we tried this? But again, that's partnering language. I'm not saying, well, you do this wrong, because there's a little section towards the end of the Connection Codes book called Unspoken Words. And everybody hears unspoken words. And if I say to her, you're not doing that right, you should do this differently, she hears words like moron, dummy, loser, failure. I didn't say those words. I may not be thinking those words, but she heard those words. And I don't even want to mess with that. I don't want to risk that. So I'm always asking her, hey, babe, I'm just curious. And that's an ooh. I'm just starting it, with a slow, gentle. And a lot of times I'll even say to her, I feel a little fear about saying this, but I'm wondering what would happen if you tried this, or if we tried this. Now we're in partnering mode. And now we're going to do this together. And that's a completely different approach to life. And that's where I want to live.
I think when people ask that question, and I know we lived there, we lived in the logistics. Logistics. And in logistics, you can find black and white, right and wrong.
Wow.
But man, that is not where we connect. We connect emotionally. So when you think about one of the stories we tell often is, I would say, thank you for unloading the dishwasher. And Glenn was wounded by that. He didn't say it for many, many, many years. He would just respond in a way like, well, it's not like the only thing I've done today.
No.
So he would respond in a way that was very confusing to me. And I think that eventually, just 20 years in, I got curious about what was happening for him. And I turned towards him and I said, what happens for you when I say, thank you for unloading the dishwasher? So in those moments is when I realized logistically, we will never connect. Because thank you for unloading the dishwasher. If you put it out there on Instagram, and you know how you can do the question thing, does anyone think that that is mean, inappropriate,
or
offensive, hateful? People would go, no. Because I would say we all hear that, thank you for unloading the dishwasher, as a really good thing. But logistically, that didn't matter. There wasn't a right and a wrong. It hurt him every time I said it. So if I live in the logistic, then I'm just like, you're wrong for reacting the way you're reacting. And that's where the fight would be. But when I got curious and heard what was happening for him, oh my goodness, it changed everything for us.
Yeah, and many, many times, remember this happened over a period of who knows what, 20 plus years. That's a lot of times, a lot of days. And Phyllis many, many times would say, most people would just say you're welcome. Was she correct? Yes, she was. And the Connection Codes protocol is you can be totally correct and absolutely wrong at the same time. You can be totally correct about the information. You can be absolutely wrong relationally. So Phyllis was correct that most people would say, you're welcome. There you go. We settled it. That didn't help us connect at all. She's correct information-wise, but she's totally wrong relationship-wise. And we spent many, many times sitting with pastors, counselors, friends, whoever. And 100% of the time, I kid you not, exactly 100% of the time, they would agree with Phyllis. And we would walk away from that meeting with Glenn being wrong and Phyllis being right. But it did not connect us ever. So now I felt even more alone, more wounded. And poor Phyllis is thinking, wait, no, we settled that. Remember, it was 3 against 1. 3 people, it was a majority. 3 people voted for Phyllis's perspective. And 1 person, Glenn, voted for Glenn's perspective. So there you go. It's settled. It was never settled because I felt even more wounded, more pain, more alone. than before. And then she, again, I don't blame her for that, but she would feel so bewildered, like, how can this be? We settled it. Well, we settled it logistically. We did not settle it relationally. And I would be more wounded. We'd be more separated, disconnected for 3 more weeks. And that was just the story of our life for a long time.
So let's slow it down to go back to the question that's being asked. When is it a good time to criticize? Or when is that the question? When is it a good time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So in the example, that was our life. So this happened many, many times. Phyllis says, thank you for unloading the dishwasher. Glenn responds negatively, unkindly.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be good for Phyllis to criticize Glenn and say, you need to say you're welcome? Because if you put it out there on Instagram, you put it out there and did a survey at church on Sunday, everyone would agree. Glenn, you need to learn to say you're welcome. That's a good criticism. You need to say you're welcome. Think about, maybe it'd be easier to think about it as a parent with a child, where a child reacts, you say, thank you for picking up your shoes, and your child reacts in a way that seems really odd. Well, you can just criticize and correct, or you can get curious and find out what's happening with the person who's reacting in a way that doesn't make any sense to me. And that's why when I hear that question, I'm like, it's never. There's really, the answer to that question is never. Get curious. Instead of criticize, get curious and find out what's happening for the other, whether it's your child, whether it's your spouse, whether it's a neighbor. Like, I think sometimes we just judge people. Like a neighbor, you say to your neighbor, good morning, and they say something horrible back to you. And we're like, well, not going to ever say that again to that neighbor, because we criticize the neighbor. We just judge the neighbor instead of going, wow, curiosity, what is happening in his life that when I say good morning, he says something horrible back to me. Curiosity is such a beautiful thing. So when you're thinking criticism makes sense, set that aside and choose curiosity. And I think for anybody that's listening, you make that for the next 90 days of your life. Get curious and set aside the criticism, and then come back 90 days later and see how different your relationships are.
Yeah, one other thing about that, just scientifically, and I don't like the word criticism, I don't like that idea, but criticism is going to be appealing to the cortexes. And if the limbic system is flooded, the cortexes are blocked, and you're never going to be able to help them because they can't think straight. And the more you appeal to the cortexes without processing the emotion, the worse the limbic system gets flooded. And you see this with kids all the time. You know, the parents are correcting them in the moment, in the emotionally activated moment, and the kid gets more dysregulated. So then the parent corrects them more, and then the kid gets more dysregulated. So it simply doesn't work. And I'm not even agreeing with the person's reaction and behavior. I'm not saying it's right. That's not my point. But it just doesn't work. And when Phyllis is activated, my only response to her is going to be an ooh. I'm going to find out what's happening for her. I may ask her, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour later, babe, what do you think might happen next time if we tried this instead? And I use we language a lot. Just what if we tried this? Because I want to know but I want it to be inside of her, not just me pointing the finger at her and saying, you need to do this differently.
I can't remember the last time, though, that interaction happened. So again, I think it's really important. Like, I think about the dishwasher story, and I think about when it shifted for us is when I became curious, and my curiosity led me to lots of compassion. Because when I heard how much pain and the messaging that was happening for Glenn, wow, like it's just, I had so much compassion over that. And I would say from that moment on, I never came back to, you should just say you're welcome. I never, because I knew what was happening for him internally. And I wanted to just make space for that. And I wanted to be a safe place for him to be able to share. You know, I always say, if someone is really wanting your advice, they'll come and ask. They will. Otherwise, they want to be heard, not fixed. So they don't want to be criticized. Like, oh my goodness, that's what we get everywhere, right? Like, I would say for Glenn and I, we want to be each other's safest space because the world criticizes you all the time. And so I want to be that safe space. I just want to get curious, like, oh, babe, what happens for you in that? And, you know, we've shared that a lot in our stories of just, we're really different. And we have different fears. We have different joys. We have different hurts. And so it's that curiosity and the safety of being able to process. Like, I think about where we are today, because I think sometimes people go, well, you'll never grow if someone's not criticizing you. That's not true. That is not true. When you're in a safe space and you're able to actually process all the emotion, you have endless energy and growth. And you're like, I want to be the best version of me. I want to, you know, figure out how to accomplish this better. But not because someone's criticizing you on the sidelines.
I think it was funny earlier today. We went with my mom for a coffee and we talked about the topic criticizing. And we found out there was the example when I tell her she has to sit straight because her back, the one way I can criticize her, but that means I know it right. She does not. And that's not connecting. And maybe she gets hurt and angry and I don't know. And when I convey the emotion behind this, I have fear that you will get back pain. This way, it changes everything. So criticizing in a way of conveying the emotion, what happens. It's not hurtful and it is connecting.
And that's so good. Again, we just ask your audience, try it for 90 days. You'll be startled at the effect of it. And I'm thrilled, feel a ton of joy that you say, you know, you don't remember the last time that we did that or that I did that. But we're just partnered. And I don't even experience any, I don't want to overstate that, but I don't experience the desire to criticize. And that doesn't mean you're perfect or you've arrived and vice versa, but we're just partnering in the journey. And there's some things we can tweak and do better, but there's no criticism, I think, fair at all. We're able to give each other input. But again, for me, I might, just like you, that's brilliant, Sebastian, I might be able to say, babe, I feel some fear about this, whatever the this is. But I'm just letting her know what's happening for me. I'm not telling her she has to shift anything because I'm not her boss. She doesn't work for me. I don't sign her paycheck. So, and again, that's the way a lot of marriage relationships work. You know, that one of them acts like they're in charge and the other person works for them. Well, you're never going to be able to have a connected marriage if that's the mentality. And that's in the U.S. at least, that's the way a lot of relationships operate. It doesn't work.
You know, we work together. So you know, that's an interesting dynamic that we are together in all that we do, including work. And I remember in 2020, we went online through Zoom and we were doing webinars teaching connection codes because of COVID. We couldn't do it in person anymore. And Glenn had been doing this probably almost daily in his private practice. And so I'm coming and joining along and, you know, we would have times where the audience would be answering questions with each other. And so we would be off camera and Glenn would say something in that kind of trying to help me be the best version as far as a speaker. Right. And I was like, he was feeling tons of joy that we were doing this together, and tons of joy that he could just point out something like maybe, a word I had mispronounced or something like that. And I had to say to him, I feel so much pain when you do this in this moment. And then I'm supposed to smile when the camera goes back on, and I can't. And then I feel so much shame that I said the word wrong. And I feel so much fear that I'm going to say it wrong again. And so Glenn just had no idea. Like, I was authentic. And then he was like, oh, babe, oh my word. Then he felt guilt for bringing it up in the middle of a break. And then he realized, he was feeling so much joy that we were doing it together. And he views me as world famous, best ever. But when I heard that, I just wanted to crawl under the table and not come back on the camera. So I authentically just said, I feel so much shame and so much pain. And so there are moments like that where both being just super authentic. And then he was able to go, oh, wow. Like, he saw how much it was affecting me. For him, it was like it all clicked. And then he didn't do that again. If we talked about it after, I might say, okay, was there anything I missed that I can do better next time? And we now, all these years later, 5 years later, we're back to doing it in person. And we often ask each other, like, babe, was there anything that you thought? And so this is a working relationship. So on a working relationship, we do come to the table sometimes and go, man, I think we need to change that slide. And I think we need to get that a little bit better. But it is very different than a criticism about who we are. It's more about the work that we do. So I think that just in transparency, we work really, really well together. But man, we show up with our core emotion a lot. Matter of fact, I think it was yesterday after we had spoken in Norway. But I started off, I said, I feel a little fear bringing this up. But it was a great conversation. And Glenn was like, yeah, I think you're right. I think I missed on that.
She's just telling me her perspective. She's not criticizing mine. And I agreed with her. As soon as she shared it, I was like, yeah, wow, I just totally missed on that. I assume we asked the two of you after we, did the thing in Mulheim. I assume we asked the two of you, any feedback. But we're asking, you can come in and say, I felt some sadness because you shared this thing that I don't think that, landed very well with the audience. But again, you're just sharing your core emotion of it. You're not criticizing me. Because we're always looking for ways to improve and maximize it. And the thing that Phyllis shared, and this morning we were talking about it, I said, that's item number 137 on the list. It's a valid point, but it's number 137. And if you share item number 137, that means item number 15 is you're not going to have time to share this one that's so much more significant, so much more important. And this was a big, big shift for us. When we first started, there were so many things that I shared are completely valid. They're true, but they're so far down the list. And if you share that one, you don't get to share this one up here. That's number 6. And it's just time management. And I was horrible at that. And she made so much difference. But again, and probably initially, she probably did come in and criticize. And it was always disconnecting.
So beautiful. Wow. So and I think we both have had conversations with friends that are in relationships or marriages. And I think it's also coming back to Phyllis, what you said with like the whole culture is criticizing us. It feels like the whole world, like everybody is kind of making money with pushing you to become the best version of yourself. Go work out every day, eat clean and whatever. And of course, like also with like physical and psychological health and everything. And it feels like, okay, you have to be like the best version on like every single category. I feel like we have adapted that kind of mindset into relationship. So when we're talking with friends, it sometimes sounds like they're with their partner and they have like this fixed goal where they want to see their partner. So she needs to grow in this character, like in her character, or like she needs to grow spiritually. She needs to, I don't know, work out more. And the same way, the other way around, like women that tell us the same, like having goals for their husbands or boyfriends. And it just feels like, okay, if they are listening now and they're like, okay, wait, that means I have to stay with this person as he or she is at the moment.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. Again, I'm just going to convey, I mean, we'll just make something up. And I adore this woman. And we're having a lot of fun together. But let's say something happened and I'm like, I don't think that's the best whatever for Phyllis, the way I'll talk about this when we first started doing this. She would, and Phyllis grew up in Germany, so her first language is German. So there's still English words that, even though she speaks perfect English, but they're just words that she misses. And she would say, oh, that really resonates with me, instead of resonates. Well, resonate means I get it. Resignate means I quit. And it didn't. And, people know what she means, but we're public figures. And so, the big miss that I did is I would do it during the experience assignments. It's a 10-minute break. So I tell her that, well, then we have to be back on camera in, whatever, 3 or 4 minutes. And she's still thinking, oh my gosh, what was the word? I can't, and then she gets hit with shame that she feels silly that she said the word wrong. So it's just bad timing. I don't need to present it in that setting. But it's great for me to say to her, oh, babe, I felt a little bit of sadness, or maybe some fear too, because the word is resonates instead of resignates. And, that's our presentation, and we probably should say the word right. But so we're always growing and developing, but the number one thing for me is connection. And as far as based on the human condition, we don't do that with a 6-month-old. We don't do that with a 1-year-old, although I think some parents somewhere do, unfortunately. But we don't say, we want you to be the best possible 1-year-old you can be. We're just like, what? No, chill out. Just let the babies be babies. Well, there's no birthday where we need to start pushing them. Humans love to succeed. If you watch little ones, they love to do things well. And they stop wanting to do things well because of unprocessed emotion. And if we can always be present with them, I look at us, we're in our 60s, and we're having the time of our life. And I want to do this well. And it's not because somebody's harassing me and fussing at me, criticizing me. We just, when we're emotionally regulated, we really, really want to succeed.
Man, I think that if you're in a relationship where you are expecting the other to always be matching you in growth, I think that's relationships in trouble. Gosh, it to me, it's like, I don't want to live under that pressure. If you inspire me, if we lived in Germany with you and you guys inspired us in all the things that you enjoy, like even to little practical things, like if you inspired us, I would be, I want to be more like that. I want to learn that. But it was because you inspired me, not because you began criticizing me as an American who's living in Germany and that German ways are better and German health is better and German air is better. It's like, I couldn't live under that pressure. I'm talking now in friendship. I would not do well in that pressure. And in your marriage, there's very few marriages that are really doing well if they're living under that kind of pressure. And then you go, okay, if that makes sense to think that works, and then you have children and you are putting them under that kind of pressure, the end result, there's certain age where kids kind of do whatever mom and dad tell them to do. But there comes a day with the pressure then, if they're constantly feeling, criticized, or you should listen to this TED Talk because you should be doing better in business, and those shoulds, you eventually go, I don't want to be around you. Of course, we work with a lot of families. We met someone in our European trip, and he was so thankful for the message of the connection codes. He says, I've been standing in front of a locked door for many, many years, and I couldn't get it unlocked. And what you have talked about today, I feel like now I can unlock this door. And he had lost relationship with all of his grown children and lives in so much pain and so much sadness, confusion. Like, what happened? Well, then he heard all of our stuff and one day of it, and he goes, now I get it. It makes so much sense. And so I think that in this whole conversation about criticism, I think it just doesn't work. We did it for many, many years, really unsuccessfully.
Yeah. Now we eat really clean. Phyllis and I do the last few years. For probably at least 10, if not 15 or more years, our kids ate a lot clean. They ate better than we did. And they would be harassing us about it. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. Eat this instead. You should do that. And it never sold well. Again, they're correct. I'm not saying they're wrong. They're not incorrect. But it doesn't work relationally. Whenever they got to the point, as we discovered the connection codes, and as they learned the connection codes, they were able to go, Mom, Dad, I feel some sadness. I feel some pain about seeing you eat that because I feel so much joy about you, and I feel fear about what this is doing to your health.
Yeah.
And I would feel so much joy if you would just consider trying this. I will jump on that. Oh my gosh. And it's been amazing. Our kids have blessed us, our adult children have blessed us incredibly. I mean, what we eat now compared to even just 10 years ago, but certainly 15, 20 years ago. And it's amazing to me. I won't even say the names of the restaurants so we don't get sued, but actually this is your podcast. I don't care if you get sued. I used to eat at these restaurants all the time. I mean, they were my go-tos, my favorites. I loved them. I can't stand them now. I mean, I'd gotten to the point I'd go there once or twice a year. And probably in the last 2 or 3 years, if I would, I'd have some craving, and it's all based on the emotion of the memory. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to go to blank, whatever the blank is. And I go and I'm like, this is disgusting. Who eats this stuff? Well, I did for decades. So my cleaner eating, now I can't stand that stuff. But and again, it's not that our children's message changed, the messenger changed. And when they're able to convey to me their core emotions, their joy about us and our health, their fear about us and our health, I'll try anything. It's just amazing how much easier of a sell it is when you convey to somebody. I just feel a little pain when I see you, eating a gallon and a half of ice cream, and I feel fear for you because I just wonder what that's going to mean for you because you are so important to me. I feel so much joy about you, about our relationship, and I want you around for a long time. And I feel fear that I'll end up losing you because of your health or, whatever. So it just works. Again, we just encourage people to try it.
Yeah. Wow.
I thought about a question which could be interesting for the audience. And I'm asking myself, if a person criticizes her or his partner or child or a friend, and the person getting criticized shuts down, what can we do here?
I mean, I've done that with my 4 adult children, and it's just the third phrase. I just go to them, I go, I think I missed something. And again, the third phrase, I missed it, doesn't mean you're wrong or evil or bad or even guilty. It just means you missed something. And just like with Phyllis, I missed that me saying, oh, babe, the word is resonate, not resignate. I missed that would cause her to be dysregulated. I just missed that. I wasn't trying to do that. I don't hate the woman. I don't want her to, be dysregulated when the camera comes back on. I missed that. And so I'm able to say to her or to whoever, hey, I think I missed something. Could you help me get what happened there? Because, wow, I feel like I missed it really badly. And what's amazing with my adult children, because I've gone to each of them individually and said, hey, I think I missed some stuff in your childhood. And I was a decent father, but I missed a lot. And this was way, way pre-connection codes. And then I tell them what I think I missed. And then I said, what else did I miss? And they told me. And there was like 340 other things that they experienced and missed with me that I didn't know about. And a lot of the things I didn't even remember. Literally, I had zero memory of it. And a lot of the things, I remembered it differently than they did. And that's always true. Nobody has the exact same memory of an event. And, who's closer to accurate? I don't know. I don't care. When my 30-year-old tells me about a pain they experienced when they were 12, what am I going to do? Sue them? Take them to court and prove, no, that's not how that happened? I don't care. Are they accurate in their narrative? Probably not. But I'm not accurate in mine either. And if my 12-year-old felt wounded, I just want to hear that pain. And again, those exact things have happened with my adult children. So the third phrase, I remember when we learned that about 2 years into our research, and we discovered the third phrase. The third phrase is so powerful. For Lydia and Sebastian, for Sebastian to realize, on a Tuesday afternoon, he missed something with Lydia, and for him to go to her and go, babe, I think I missed something. And again, the miss something doesn't mean you're wrong, doesn't mean you're inaccurate. It even just means because you adore this woman and you want to be connected with her. You want to be partnered with her, and you missed that what you said was going to cause her to move away from you. Hey, babe, I missed with that. Could you help me get what happened? And again, those three phrases, you're just always weaving in and out of those pretty much in every conversation.
Yeah.
That's a great question, though. Yeah. I mean, I've known the two of you a while. We've been together. We've experienced some things together. I am 100% convinced Sebastian would never wound Lydia on purpose. But he does do things where she feels wounded. And for him to be able to go, oh, babe, shoot. Oh, my gosh, those are all oohs. I think I missed with you. Could you help me get what happened there? And to invite her into her own experience, invite her into herself. And she'll tell you. And it's, again, I want to make sure your audience knows, this is not a 45-minute thing. This is not an hour and a half. You have to sit down. This literally can take 30 seconds. And shoot, if it takes 60 seconds, who cares? But it's just amazing how quickly, because once Lydia is able to process through the emotion, she thinks clearer and she will connect with you. But if you address the logistics and you say, babe, I, Sebastian, am correct, you're incorrect. Good luck, dude. You are not going to have fun tonight. I guarantee you that.
Before we finish, I have one question left, because if we turn it around and we have someone in the audience being criticized all the time from the partner, what can this person do?
This is our story. It took us forever. We were the slow kids in the group. But for Phyllis to say, babe, I feel so much shame when you point those things out. I feel wounded. I feel pain when you point those things out. If I'm a connection coder, I go, oh, wait, what happened? What did I miss? Because I didn't know, I'm not doing this because I'm a jerk. I'm not doing it because I'm an idiot and I hate her. No. So for her to say to me, babe, I feel, and this is exactly how it played out. And we didn't do it perfectly, but we did it pretty well. She said, I just feel pain when you do that. And then I get hit with shame. And then I don't even want to get back on camera. And I go, oh, what happened? What did I miss? She processes the emotion. Then I get to the fourth phrase and I go, babe, so what do you need? She goes, could you tell me later? Like, tell me after, the whatever we're doing. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And once she processed the emotion, once I see her at the core, the authentic, vulnerable Phyllis, absolutely, I can do that. And once we got to that, we processed it through, and I think changed it permanently. Is that fair? Yeah, which is just amazing. That's a great question too, though.
If someone's listening and they are in a relationship where there's a lot of what they're experiencing as criticism, realize that your partner may not even realize that it's criticism. So it's you being able to show up authentically and say, I feel really hurt whenever you point this out, or I feel fear in telling you, but I feel a lot of shame and hurt. And this may be such a pattern that to just kind of say, you have the right to say ow when you feel hurt. And it's not a criticism of your partner to say, again, they are horrible, evil people who are criticizing. It's just your experience. But you have the right to say ow every single time. And I think, we work with people often that have been married a really long time. And one of the partners has been silent for a really, really long time. And now is not able to be silent anymore. Well, that's a hard season when all of a sudden that person is saying ow a lot. And the other person's going, what is happening? I've been doing this for 30 years and you've never said a thing. And now you're saying it.
And that's the emotional dam. That emotional dam built up. And this is her story. And she was drowning for whatever, 30 years.
But I would say be patient with each other, be patient with yourself, but know you have the right to say ow. And you've got to start. Like if you feel like you're being criticized all the time, you've got to start. You got to start saying ow. And, that's when we always say, also get help. If you're feeling like your partner is not hearing you when you are saying ow, if your partner feels justified and defends himself or herself, you may have to get some outside voices and just, you deserve that though. Don't just go back into your shell and go, well, that's just who my partner is. I'm criticized by that partner every day of my life. You don't have to live like that. And your body doesn't want to live like that. It's crying out for you to speak up and to say ow when you feel hurt. Yeah.
And again, I know we're talking about the partner that feels criticized, but that's the power of the third phrase. And again, we experience this, who knows, thousands of times. For me to be able to go, oh, shoot, I missed that again. Dang it, I missed that. Oh, crap, I totally missed what happened for you, which is exactly what happened this morning as we're talking about that. I'm like, oh, wow, I totally missed that. And I did. I didn't miss it because I'm stupid. I didn't miss it because I'm bad. I didn't miss it because I don't care. I just missed it. Everybody misses things. And again, we processed it in under 60 seconds, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you so.
Yes, I love it.
Wow. Ihr Lieben, wir sind am Ende unseres Podcasts mit Dr. Glenn und Phyllis Hill. Und wir sind einfach nur begeistert und lieben die zwei so sehr.
Oh ja.
Oh ja. Dr. Glenn hat vorher das Buch erwähnt, das Buch Connection Codes. Und wir haben mit einem wunderbaren Freund, er hat das Buch übersetzt. Wir durften reinschauen und auch schauen, dass diese tollen Inhalte auf Deutsch verfügbar sind. Das Buch ist noch nicht publiziert, aber wenn du auf die Warteliste möchtest für dieses Buch und nicht verpassen willst, wenn es endlich verfügbar ist, dann darfst du dich unten bei dem Link in den Kommentaren einfach einschreiben und uns deine E-Mail-Adresse dalassen. Dann kriegst du nämlich die Benachrichtigung, dass das Buch endlich auf Deutsch übersetzt ist. Und dann wirst du es auf keinen Fall verpassen. Hey, wir machen das alles, weil du es verdient hast, in deiner Beziehung verbunden zu leben.
Und dein Leben zu lieben.